Hello everyone, good day to all. Now in this video and audio I am explaining the poem Fire and Ice written by Robert Frost. Its second poem, 10th standard CBSE. The first poem, Dust and Snow, we have learned about Robert Frost. Let me introduce the poem. Fire and Ice is a short figurative and symbolic poem written by Robert Frost. The poem expresses the idea that the world will end someday either by fire or ice. Here the poet has compared fire and ice with hatred and desire. Hatred and desire, the self-destructing emotions of human beings. The poem Fire and Ice beautifully describes how humans let their emotions rule over them. They have no control over their burning desire for materialistic things. Fire and Ice is a 9-line poem. Robert Frost was an American poet. His work was initially published in England before it was published in the United States. The explanation of the first part of the poem. Some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. So what is desire? Desire, wishing for something to happen, or to have something. Favor, support, approval. According to the poet, fire stands for desire, greed and lust. These emotions of people have no end. When they try to fulfill desire, that may lead to unbearable consequences. Hence, spread like fire. The result of this is people become egoistic, selfish and cruel. So remember, here fire accordingly stands for desire, greed, avarice, conflict, fury and lust. Now let me read the second part of the poem. But if it has to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. The poet now considers the second option and says that if the earth was to end twice, then ice would have been competent enough. Ice means coldness that emerges in human beings and describes ice as rigid and rough. The human tendency of hatred has equal power to end the world or lead to the world towards destruction. People do not care about the feelings and emotions of others, so they turn harsh and indifferent to others' happiness and sorrow. Let me remind, now I stands for cruelty, intolerance, rigidity, insensitivity, coldness, indifference and hatred. So the poet in the poem says ice is equally good as fire to destroy life on earth and bring to an end. Let me conclude the poem. According to the poem, the poet has strong feeling that people have so much hatred in their hearts against each other that it will suffice to freeze the entire planet towards death. So fire, due to evil desire, and ice of dreadful hatred are enough for the destruction of the entire world. The theme of the poem, Fire and Ice. The theme of Fire and Ice is the power of both hatred and desire to destroy the world. Frost states his opinion that world will end because of human emotions and not due to natural disasters. What is a rhyming scheme? The rhyme scheme followed by entire poem is ABA, ABC, BCB. This rhyme scheme helps in bringing out the contrasting ideas of fire and ice presented in the poem. The poet mentions that both fire and ice are probable ends of this world. Now, listen to the audio for the analysis of some of the literary devices used in the poem. Symbolism. Symbolism is the use of symbols to signify ideas and qualities by giving them symbolic meanings different from the literal meanings. Here, fire is a symbol of desire and ice symbolizes hatred. Assonance. It is a repetition of vowel sounds within a group of words in a line. Example, the long sound of O in I hold with those who pay fire. Alliteration. It is repetition of initial consonant sounds in two or more closely placed words. For example, the sound of F in favor, fire, or W in world, will. Imagery is used to make readers perceive things involving their five senses. For example, some say the world will end in fire. To say that for destruction ice is also great. Anaphora. Anaphora is repetition of a word or words at the beginning of two or more successive verses or sentences. For example, some say is repeated at the start of lines 1 and 2. Personification. Personification is to give human qualities to inanimate objects. In this poem, fire and ice are capable of destruction. Therefore, the poet personifies fire and ice by giving them a mind which is capable of destroying almost anything. Enjambment. The continuation of sentence without a pause beyond the end of the line or stanza. It moves over to the next line is called enjambment. For example, from what I have tasted of desire, hold with those who favor fire. What is the message of the poem? Here the poet wants to convey the message that fire and ice both are growing rapidly and the world will end soon, either by fire or ice. People should control their emotions. The poet concludes by saying that both the weapons are equally dangerous and it will lead the world towards destruction. I hope you have understood the poem. Thank you. This is Padma. Have a good day.